Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to RSF1 Racing. We are here for something a little bit different, something to, what's the word, to light the fire, start the conversation,
Whet the appetite.
all those types of... Whet the appetite, that's a good one, there you go. We are, as of currently broadcasting, we are, how many hours is it? 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 hours. I can't do maths. I can't do maths at all. We are 5 hours away from kicking off Season 5 in RSF1 with obviously the F1 division around France as well. Still seems weird saying that. Yeah. So, but before we do that, we're going to discuss about all the divisions because last night we had the team and driver draw. We got to see who's in what car and so on and who their teammate. So we can now sort of take a guess on who we think is going to be at the top.
Mm-hmm.
As you may have already heard, I have company here as well. So let's get our introductions out of the way. So from Ruben's here, and I'm joined alongside by the Cornish lad himself, RSF1 Cornish.
Hello, guys.
Thank you very much for joining me, Mr. Cornish. Obviously, you are an avid viewer of RSF1. You are a big community member as well, so you have a lot of knowledge of all these drivers. Plus, you are also commentating. This is the first time you're sort of producing a season as well, streaming for the first time. You got Div 3, which is a tasty one. What's your thoughts ahead?
Yeah, I cannot wait. I'm really, really looking forward to this season. I think it's going to be a real mixed season, as in terms of the whole history of quick drivers is going to be completely mixed around, which I'm really looking forward to it. Yes, as you said, I'm covering F3. Some very interesting characters in Formula 3, which I'm looking forward to be commentating on, not only in their personalities, but also their driving styles. I think F3 is going to be one that people are going to have to tune in for this coming up season. But we'll cover more of that when we get to them in a minute. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this season.
If that isn't a plug to F3, I don't know what is. Jesus. They've done a good job, though. Done a good job. Also commentating alongside Source is, well, and I've already seen in the pre-season, because we had a couple of pre-season races. Yeah, definitely a good partnership we got there for F3.
Yeah, me and Source, the Southwest duo.
Yes,
it's gonna be a pretty interesting commentary, I think. Interesting commentary duo. Time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
Time will tell.
Speaking of the season, we'll touch briefly on the calendar before we get things rolling, because obviously we've got people still tuning in at the moment. Currently says my viewer count is 2, but my chat is chatting away, and it's definitely more than 2, so, and all that. So while we let people settle in and wait for what we say about them, because they all want to know opinions and then sharpen their pitchforks and all light them on fire and set them on us. But we need to talk about the calendar, because this is a very interesting calendar. For the first time in my history in racing leagues, it's completely random, and it's, well, random with a capital R, Cornish, because we're starting off at France, we're ending in China. So, and no Monaco. I think everybody's cheering that there's no Monaco.
Well, everyone apart from RSF1 Button, who historically has won every single Monaco race he's done. Apart from him, yeah, I think everyone is quite happy Monaco's gone. But yeah, I agree. I think it's a really interesting and exciting way to start off this game. Definitely more interesting than what every other league is doing and just following the original calendar, especially as obviously the COVID is throwing up real life Formula 1. Why not throw it up our end as well and just, make it a bit more interesting, starting with France and then off to Belgium, and then off to Japan. How exciting is that? How exciting is that? Not just a dull, slog of the normal calendar.
Yeah, well, Japan can, can go on. I know, and in real life, it's a real shame that we're not going to there in real life, but in Japan in game and me racing it, no.
Yeah,
I'd rather race Monaco.
I've never ever successfully been able to do Q1 in Japan. I could never get that first sector right ever. So yeah, I'm not looking
even
forward
better
to
with the
Japan
curbs
either.
now.
Oh, don't! I've actually not even driven it on this year's game because I don't like it that much. So yeah, we'll wait and see for that one.
You know the combination though, because when I looked at the calendar, looked at it fully, there's like I always like pick out sections like what could be an interesting fortnight. Baku, we know how difficult Baku is. It can be low finishes, followed by Australia.
Yeah,
the fast left right.
Both tracks with dangerous walls quite close to it. Obviously, Baku's walls are a lot closer, but yeah, that fast left right at Australia. I've actually not driven Australia on this game yet. There's so many tracks I've not driven that I've avoided on purpose.
That fast left right is. Remember on the last game you had so many people crashing there. There's going to be way more this one, unless by that point the cars obviously change with all the patches that bring the cars slower at some point.
I think the other positive as well is because it's not until round 12. Well, that's 3 months away. By then, I think the majority of people will have got their idea of setup sorted, and they'll just be a lot more used to the game. So hopefully, by the time we get to the trickier tracks like Baku and Australia, it won't be as tricky as if we started off with it, for example.
No.
Hopefully, we'll be a bit more used to it by then. But definitely still going to be an interesting one to see.
And obviously across all tiers, technically we are still in the whole testing phase. Even though we got the divisions ready, the cars picked and so on, this is fine-tuning, technically, if you would agree with me, because this is still a new game. This is still relatively, fresh. People don't know, setups fully. We got some kind of idea, but people are still getting used to the game and the curbs and everything else. Next season 6, when we hopefully, fingers crossed, do the full calendar with the 3 new tracks and everything else, Imola, Portimao, Jeddah, really looking forward to that. That is when it's going to be good proper, because finalise where people are in divisions, it can promote a few people and demote a few people in some cases. So this one, people are still going to take with a slight pinch of salt, I guess. I guess you'd agree with me.
Experimental salt.
Yeah, you got to take it like there may be a few fine tweaking in the first few weeks, basically.
Yeah, no, I agree. Season 2 is going to be insane with those new tracks, and I can't wait. But obviously, we're here to talk about Season 1 today. Well, technically, Season 5.
Yeah. Season 1 on this game. Right, I think we're ready to start our opinions rolling. We've got 27 viewers. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, don't anyone get too upset.
Yeah, I'm going to mention straight off the bat now. We are not going to go through every single driver because we're not doing a 4 or 5 hour stream. We're going to be here all night if we talk about every driver. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick out a few ones that leap out at us, in our opinion. And this is just based on opinions. Do not all go shouting at us, crying at us in the chat or the members lounges. How dare you talk about us? How dare you not talk about us? What about me? It's just opinions from me and Cornish. That's all it is. So,
and if we do,
please,
if you're worried we're not going to mention you, if there is anything you would like us to mention, or whatever, just send me a DM, and I'll make sure that I at least cover something. If there is something you want to be covered, just a little history about yourself, or whatever, and I'll read it out.
Yeah, of course. So if you want to pipe up in the chat and say, "What about me?" Then okay, fine. But if when the stream is done and the members lounge and you say, "Oh, you thought this about me," oh, good. Even if we say something that you think is bad, again, it's just opinions. And let's be honest, we're not fully knowledged on every single driver here. We're basing this on past performances and what you do.
100%.
So, a lot of what we say is basically what you've done. So there's no hiding, pretty much. So, but let's kick things off. And we're going to go in division reverse order. We're going to start off with Division 5 and end Division 1. No real main reason for that. It's basically, Div 1 is tonight, obviously, so, and so on. So let's start with Div 5. So Div 5, commentating for this is going to be the duo of Musical Rocket and Lincoln. We've already mentioned, obviously, you and Source, Cornish, but Rocket and Lincoln, obviously based from last season, because they were your division commentators, weren't they? What can you say about them? Because obviously you must have watched your own races back.
Yes. Best way to describe Rocket and Lincoln. Definitely an entertaining pair to listen to. They've definitely got a good rapport with each other, and they make sure if for Division 5 they will not miss any on-track action. That's one really good thing to say. Rocket being the main streamer, he's always keeping track of the distances, and he does seem to catch the majority of the overtakes, which is a really positive for a streamer. And those two are definitely a partnership that do bounce off of each other. So as Zach's just put in the chat, the Chuckle Brothers is one way to describe them.
No, yeah.
So yeah, a cracking pairing. Div 5 have definitely got one of the top tier pairings in my opinion.
Not that we're not, comparing every commentating duo. We're all good.
We're all top tier.
Yeah, we're all top tier. One thing, Div 5, one thing you will get used to very quickly, they don't shy away about what they say. Yeah. So bear that in mind. They don't care what they say, even how brutal it is sometimes from some people. So just take that. But yeah, you got...
Also, Rocket, for some reason, seems to have the memory of an elephant. If you make one mistake in the first race of the season, he'll remember that 18 races down the line.
Yeah.
So just be aware, if he catches you being stupid or getting a penalty under a safety car, he will mention that every single time the safety car comes out. So, you got to be on your best behaviour when you're racing with Rocket watching.
Right, so in terms of the drivers and the division as a whole, now of course, Division 5 is the lowest tier in RSF1. Low as such because, pace and so on and so forth. But that's not anything against the drivers. There will still be entertainment here, always is, with Division 5. And these are the ones that still put in the hard work. They're also, there are, I think this is the division that has the most new drivers in it. New to RSF1 as a whole. So a lot is kind of unknown, and that's the excitement of it as well. The other excitement is, Mr. Cornish, is that a lot of these drivers haven't won races in RSF1 or haven't even got podiums. So that's something Rocket and Lincoln are going to be looking forward to, making a big deal about first-time winners.
Definitely.
So there's a lot here. But I think Div 5 is going to be who's going to get the most consistency, who's the more experienced, who's been in RSF1 before, while the new drivers settle in. So, and obviously there's a few drivers here that stand out for me in that kind of regard. One of which is Dano, who last season had the most points out of everyone, currently who are in last season, the most points by quite a bit. So for me, straight away, he knows how to string together results. Consistent results, which would stand him good, I think, going forward, Cornish.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, Dano did manage to take part in the Race of Champions as well that we had last year, and represented himself well. Obviously, this is a whole new game. I've only seen him briefly in a couple of socials, but yeah, 100%. He is one of the main ones to be watching out for. His main asset is his consistency, as you said.
Was in McLaren last season, 156 points that he got. He's in a Haas this time, so a little bit different to get used to. Different powertrain. I know it's all equal cars, but
Yeah.
It might take him a couple of weeks to get used to it. The whole Daniel Ricciardo effect, I guess. You can say it might take him a while. Also, it's new drivers to be around. So again, but as I mentioned, he knows how to string results. Another driver that standing out as well, which could get quite complicated later on, is Dan P45. Don't let the name fool you, because we know what a P45 stands for those in the chat that do. I don't think he's named after that, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But Dan P45, he's been tier 4, tier 5 for last couple of seasons. He's been recently turned off all assists. He's still steadily trying to get used to that. And of course, a new game as well might take him time to get going. But once he does, if he's in championship contention midway through, I reckon he's got a big shot at the title, potentially. Who's he got as a teammate? Dan P45.
He's got the always cheerful Hippo.
Ah, yes. Both in the Mercs as well. So that could be an interesting one as well. Fruit Boy is another one. I don't know whether you've seen most of the pre-season races, Cornish, but Fruit Boy was quick. And very impressive in his racecraft as well.
If I'm honest, I know Fruit Boy, and he is previously gone by the name of Failing Tomcat, who I've raced against and is incredibly quick. So he is one driver that I'm surprised is in Div 5, if I'm honest.
Struggling in the new game, maybe?
You could say that, or maybe there's a few sandbags going on with the new gamer tag. I think he's one that's going to be one to watch out for. It's all I'm going to say on that matter.
Well, you know what happens if he is sandbagging. He gets moved up to F4, which may not have any space at the time, so he's only wasting his own time if he is.
100%. But yeah, I think he's going to be one of my favourites for the first race anyway. Let's be honest with that.
Yeah, it's the racecraft that impressed me the most. The moves he was pulling on, especially in Spain. And the outside of turn, I think it was 4 or 5. That left-hand hairpin on someone. Clean, no contact at all. So
yeah, that's the one good thing I will say about him. His race, he is a very, very clean racer. I've raced with him previously in a league which wasn't known for its clean racing, and he was one of the standouts. A very, very quick standout. So yes, maybe he's just struggling on this particular game. Maybe on this game he has lost a bit of pace. But if he can find that pace and consistency, yeah, he's going to be one of my favourites for the league, 100%.
Yeah. Another one in F5 this season, a bit of a surprise, although he is lacking a little bit of confidence on this game, is Chris. That mean you both know. Confidence is the word I'm seeing here. But it's one of those things, I think, give 7-8 races, when he's fully up to speed, and back to his normal self, I think he's another one to watch. There's a fair few in F5 that could surprise, but of course there's also loads that we don't know about that could be the surprise package.
Yeah, obviously Chris, another fellow member of our comms team. So we know Chris quite well. He was in Div 4 last year. He joined in halfway through the season in Div 4, and he didn't have the best time of it. But he did have a standout race near the end of the season in Abu Dhabi at the very end of the season and finished 4th and did a really, really good job there. And I felt like his confidence was building and building and building. And then, yeah, as you're right, this game's come out and he just doesn't quite... On his day, he's quick. He's really quick and would do a good account of himself in Division 4, in my opinion. But he's just not quite got it there yet. He's not quite got it there. If he puts in a bit of work, I definitely think podiums are a very, very possible result for Div 5 for him going forward this season, or maybe even a couple of wins. He's definitely the dark horse, I'd say, at the minute for me.
Fair enough, yeah. 31 points in the house in F4 last season, finds himself in the Alpha Tauri this season, which was a solid car, I think, early going in this game. He's got a teammate of Overcome Orphan, who is one of the more popular drivers in the league at the moment, arguably, simply because he just head down, rarely complains, because obviously there are a few people out there that say, oh, this guy's too quick. Never hear Orphan say that. At least I haven't seen it. He just head down, get on with it. And I think in 3 seasons that I've watched him, commentating on obviously and watching the races, he's only manually retired, put it into the pits, so on, 3 times. 3 or 4 times. In 3 seasons.
Wow.
Even if he's like a lap or 2 down at the back, out in Q1, so on and so forth, he doesn't retire. And he's the one driver, I think, out of a few that I really want to get a podium. When he gets a podium, if he gets a podium, I'm pretty sure he's so close to it. I think when he gets it, I think there'll be a lot of people cheering. So, on the Orphan bandwagon, I think.
100%, 100%, I agree. All the best luck for him. Really, really. He's definitely one I'm going to be looking out for as one of my personal, maybe not favourites for podiums or anything, but if he gets a really good result, then I think everyone will be happy for him, as you said.
Hippo's saying Orphan will get a win this season.
Oh, do you know what?
Yeah.
I think the whole division would be delighted if he did.
We'll see. We'll definitely see. There's a few. You actually in the lead up to this Cornish, you had a post for a few drivers to send them your thoughts, or their thoughts, sorry, to you about the season ahead. I think we got one from Kabuki first off, who's another one who is a hard graft of the league. Was in every race last season and didn't manage to score a point, not through lack of trying as well. And I think he will have a good season going forward. But what's he said?
So he gave me a very brief history on his RSF1. So he said that he joined in season 2 and scored a point for Racing Point at Spa, and then got his full-time seat for season 3 and made him way through the back of the grid to put himself through many midfield battles and consistent Q3 appearances. And as you rightly said, in season 4, he was a letdown, failing to score a single point, and basically his season was marked by multiple DNFs. But coming into season 5, he's filled himself with fresh optimism and is working hard at racecraft and ensuring that he finishes a lot more races this season and gets more points more consistently. Hoping to lead the midfield is his goal for this season, and battling for higher points positions, maybe even podium finishes if he's lucky. That's what his aims are for the season going forward anyway.
Good stuff. All the best to him. Yeah. Definitely think consistency is the word. Yeah. We'll see ahead. All the best to him.
Yeah. Real good luck. Thank you for sending that little bit in. Obviously I know you had from the sound of it, you had a bit of a tough season, but what's really good is you've not let that get you down. You've come in with the fresh optimism, which is what you need in these kind of league formats. You kind of just need to forget what happened last season and just concentrate on this season and just concentrate on improving on yourself, which looks like what you're doing. So, yeah, best of luck to you, mate.
Yeah, he's in the Alpine with KJ Mando for this season. Lovely little car, the Alpine there. So
it looks like a real good duo.
Stuff.
It looks like a real good duo. Hopefully, should be hopefully getting plenty of points.
Yes. We've got another former driver that sent something to you as well, I believe. MT the Mighty, who is in the Williams this season. Beautiful car it is.
Yeah, he sent through a little bit. He said that he joined RSF1 midway through season 4. This is the first league he's ever raced in. So he started in last season as a reserve in F5, but ended it with a full-time seat in the AlphaTauri, and he managed to score 7 points. So that's how last season went for him. His goal for this season is to fight for his first league racing podium ever, and hopefully be a mid-table finish at the end of it. But yeah, that's what he sent through. So he looks like one of the drivers. Being your first league is a big thing. It's definitely experience, that he needs to gain. That's what he's hoping to gain this season. And yeah, if he can get some midpoint finishing, then that's a real solid result for your first full league season.
Yeah, good stuff. All the best to you, MT the Mighty. Yeah, I think he made a good first impression last season. As you said, he was new to RSF1, new to league. Good first impression. Basically, he didn't do anything wrong. He just head down race. I don't think he got in many incidents either. I've just realised, they get the panoramic view of the cars in the showroom.
Yeah.
I feel so silly because there's a sponsor on the side of the Williams that is Dorilton or something.
Yep.
I thought that was Doritos. It looks so much like the Doritos sponsor.
Wow. Right, okay.
The back of it.
Moving on.
Doriton. No, there it is.
Wow.
Yeah, not Doritos at all.
Well,
not Doritos at all.
Of course you'd think that.
The other driver that came back to you, also in the Williams, new driver to the lead, Jay Chadwick.
Mm-hmm.
Sent something to you, I believe.
Yeah, very brief for Jay Chadwick. Basically just explaining that this is his first season in RSF1. He didn't specify if it's first ever league race, so I'm assuming that it's not. But yeah, first full season in RSF1. His hopes going forward is that he's hoping for the strong top 5 finish in the first race. So he's got high hopes.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, hoping to kick the season off well and then move forward, going on like that. He's also like to add in that he's on a controller, because I think a lot of the Div 5 guys are on wheels, if I'm correct. So yeah, definitely looks like to have a bit of confidence that he's aiming for top 5 going forward. So yeah, interesting to watch. I don't think it's Jamie Chadwick in terms of the women's driver, but just a similar name.
I mean, if he's named after it, that's a good driver to be named after.
100%. Yeah, very talented driver, Jamie Chadwick.
Yes, Hippo, the pad squad. Nothing wrong with being part of the pad squad. Nothing wrong at all. Yeah, one of the new drivers in the league in RSF1. Obviously, all the best to every driver in Div 5 and all the other divisions, but the new drivers obviously to look out for. Well, first one, technically not new, is DOR Skyline. Returning, I guess. Has had some time away. Hopefully he can settle down and have a good full season. We've got Ellis the Great in there as well. We got Ethan, or ETH107. We've got 2 Ethans, actually, who are both in the same team. How did that ever happen? Both in the McLarens, so that's going to be fun for Lincoln and Rocket to try and who is who, because one is ETH, so F or ETH, and one is Ruli Ethan, so yeah, that's going to be fun. Also got Fruit Boy that we mentioned, Jay Chadwick, we got Pierre P2611, and that's it for the new drivers. Of course, the others that we haven't mentioned, again, we're not going to go through every single one, as we mentioned before. But best luck to you all. Yeah, should be a fun one ahead, Div 5. Very entertaining. As I think Timmer mentioned in the chat just briefly before, good set of lads in there, I think. Always is.
Yeah, good bunch of lads of camaraderie, which is what we like to see.
Yay. Right, moving on to Div 4. So Div 4. So, commentating on Div 4 is going to be myself and the returning Unity Hush in the comms box for this season. So, I'm very much looking forward to this because Div 4 used to be my old stomping ground, I guess. But
Same.
I guess so. Day I used to commentate on. So, and when I did that, there was a lovely season, went all the way down to the wire. Singapore finale, because we had to do Singapore rerun that season in season 3. Hopefully we'll need to do that this season, but good times, and there's still a few names from that season as well that are stuck around in F4. As you mentioned, Cornish, the tier that used to be in, that you won the championship in, so who's going to take your Div 4 crown?
Well,
is the question in this one.
Div 4 will always be a tier close to my heart. Obviously, last season was my first season in RSF1, and as you said, I managed to win it somehow. It was a real good season-long battle that was amazing. A real good bunch of lads, Division 4, and a bunch of them are still there. Couple that I'd like to add out: RSF1 Button. He's changed his name this year to Button 22X. He's got to be one of my favourites up there. Managed to finish 5th last season, I think, or 4th.
Yeah, it was in amongst the title potential there because he was very, very consistent with it. I think he only got like 2 wins, one of which was Monaco. Yeah. He's actually one of those that would have probably not liked the fact that Monaco is taken out of the calendar this season.
No, definitely he's very disappointed at that.
Street circuit specialist, always goes well at street circuits. I don't know what it is. I need to ask him one day.
I think what it is, I think he just has the patience. Obviously I don't know if many of you know, but he's one of the older generation of drivers that we've got in, one of the older guys in the league. And I think he's just got that patience that some of the younger guys don't necessarily have. So he just doesn't worry about what people around him are doing, just runs at his own pace, just works methodically through the race. And in street tracks where it's difficult, where you've got to be really careful, it works well for him. And he dominated the Monaco racing last season, kept it controlled. So yeah, he's going to be my one to watch, I think, for Division 4 going forward. Obviously with a couple of the quicker drivers moving through, and he seems to have some really good pace in this game that I've seen as well. So yeah, real best of luck to Button going forward.
Yeah, 197 points he got last season, which again, if you get north of 150 points, you know how to again string results together.
Yes, 100%.
Which can only push him forward. Wasn't a Ferrari last season, Aston Martin this season. So
lovely car,
different powertrain, different noise. Yeah, totally agree with you. He's consistent. He stays out of trouble most of the time, and that can only, when you've got such a competitive tier, which all of them are. Yeah, it's definitely going to be one going forward for him. There's a lot of names that are kind of like similar, that they're experienced in RSF1. Others including like Fish Sticks in there as well. Also was in F4 last season, 153 points.
Was
Manzi,
in there. He was there last season.
Charismatic.
He got a lot of solid
coming
points.
Back. Yeah, old Manzi, 118 points I got in there. Was in contention like middle third, no, 2/3 of the season, but then dropped away. Got some horrible luck in like the last 5 races. He was a solid hand in that Mercedes. Who also we got Millsy. Got Millsy in there as well, and he is one of the most toughest people to pass. Always say that about him.
You could see that. Tough is one way to describe it.
Yeah. Also we got Tedist or Ted First in there, who had a stonking, that's the one I'm using, stonking season in F5 last season. Was in contention, got 225 points in the Williams last season. Making the step up to Div 4 can be a little bit tricky. Some people, either it's motivational, others struggle for it. I don't think he's going to struggle. I think, again, like Button, he's just going to head down, knuckle in, and again, could be a surprise one.
Just to go back on Millsy, sorry. One thing I would just like to know is, if I'm correct, he was the Div 4 championship from season 3. Was he? Did he win the Div 4 champion?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so
he's in the chat, he can confirm.
He did move up to Division 2 or 3 for last season, and then I think he's decided to turn off traction control, and I think that's where he's lost a bunch of his pace, getting the hang of this game and without running traction. So he's definitely going to be one to watch. Knows what to do in Div 4 to win it, so he's going to be one to watch.
So it could be one of those ones, the first 3 races he's still trying to get steady with no traction, but once he's got used to it, what we always say about no traction, once you got used to it, you find pace at more end.
Yeah, he's just replied, him and Eagle were separated by 2 points in the end.
I remember that, yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Who else have we got in there? Yeah, Millsy's teammate McCracken is back as well, and this is the team I think would be very, very strong. I think in F4, both in the house, which I know is the car not many people wanted, but I think the pair of them could be up there together. The only thing I would say is that because I both predict they're going to be near the top, could they work together with the competitiveness? Because I know they're both very competitive. Is that going to perhaps hamper them for the constructors and allow, say, an Immortal and LA16 Ham and the Williams to move forward, or a DPS Charismatic as an example? Corner, still there?
Sorry, I was just having a coughing fit.
That's alright.
I
No
was
problem.
trying to mute my mic. Sorry, give me 2 seconds.
That's alright. What else are we going to say about F4? Obviously, we've got Source in there. Used to be in F5 last season, got promoted to F4. First time full season in F4. Yeah, Cornish, he's alright, Hippo. He's alright. Just he's got positive for COVID recently, so he's going through that at the moment. He's alright though. He'll be fine.
I'm back.
Who else have we got?
Sorry about that.
Hello. We also got Braver Container in there. What do you mean? I don't know where that started from. But apparently, whenever someone says Braver Container, that's what you need to say.
I guess
So
I've not heard
have
that
to
one.
get used to that. Yeah, F4's got a lot. Again,
Yeah.
it's like tier 5 as well. There's a lot of names that you can just say, and then you think they're going to be at the top as well. This one, I remember rightly, F4 2 seasons ago went down to the wire. Last season went to 2 races to go.
It was very
I
close
reckon-
until I put my foot down.
You should have put your foot down from the beginning.
To be fair, I did. I just ended up spinning and crashing and getting too many penalties. But I sorted my act out by the end. But yeah, no, it was a close season all the way through, to be fair. Another driver we've not mentioned yet, Lincoln. He seems quick on this game. Obviously, he was Division 5 last year. Moved up to Division 4 for this season. But he seems to have some pace. I'm not good. If I'm honest, he's one that I wouldn't have been surprised if I'd seen him in Division 3. But he set himself forward on Division 4. I think ideally he'd like to see himself get some podiums going forward, I think.
Yeah, did he write something to you, I believe?
Yeah, for something very briefly, he said that he joined RSF1 in Season 3 and at the beginning of Season 3. First season he did okay, was lucky to get any podiums. Last season started off on pad, quick-ish, realised he was going behind more than the one in front, losing pace. So he decided to buy a wheel. So last season, it was his first season on wheel, and was very quick in qualifying. But when it came to the races, would bottle it. He's expected to try and get into the points more consistently this season, finish from his starting positions better, and hopefully on tracks like Brazil, he can go for at least a podium. That's his goal for this season.
Yeah, good stuff. 141 points in F5 last season. Again, similar to Teddy's, got to make that step up to F4. Like you, though, I think he has found pace in like the pecking order in this game. I wouldn't be too surprised if he's considered for promotion by the end of the season. Not before the end. I don't think he's going to be one of those ones, we've made a mistake, up into F3 you go. Because of how competitive F4 is. I don't think there's a one array driver here. I could be very wrong. We could have like someone who wins like the first 5 races. Obviously then we'll do something about it. But no, I don't think there's a runaway winner. But
No.
I do think at the end of this season, I think Lincoln is one to be considered F3 promotion for Season 6. So we'll see how that goes. No pressure, Lincoln. We just heaped all the pressure on you. There you go. Immortal was another one, I believe.
Yeah, Immortal sent me a little bit. He said that he went wheel and no traction at the start of the last season, and it didn't go very well. As people, he seems to think that people didn't like the Red Bull or him, as they kept on putting him in the walls most weeks. And when he didn't get taken out, he'd spin. So apparently, this game though seems easier for no traction for him, especially on slow corners. It just seems to suit his driving style a bit more, which is why he's moved up to Division 4. He doubts he'll do very well, so he's not got much confidence, as he thinks there's a fair few sandbaggers for this season. And qualifying is definitely not one of his strong points. He's hoping for a few podiums, and he at least wants to beat Dave. That's his goal. Dave is Lincoln. Sorry, I should add
Dave is Lincoln, yeah, I was going to say. I know who Dave is. I was like, who's Dave? No, Lincoln.
Yeah, so that's what Immortal said. So he seems to be one of the ones that isn't showing much confidence, but at least wants to beat Dave.
He won't beat Dave. That's all it is. Yeah, I'm looking forward to F4. Personally, as I said, this is the one I'm commentating on. Yeah, there's a lot of names that I know can string results together. A lot of wise drivers, a lot of quick drivers, but there's a ton of wise drivers that know when to push, know when to hold back. There's loads of ones that those racist corners where nothing's going right, qualifying's not going right at all. You get caught up in an instant the first lap and you think, nah. But there's a lot of drivers that were like, okay, if I can only get 1 or 2 points out of this, I'll still stick in and try and do it.
Yes.
There's a lot of drivers like that.
There's not as many hotheads in this division as maybe in some others. So yeah, you're right. They'll stick it out. So hopefully this should be one of the divisions that will see more finishes than the rest. Well, more finishes than the average.
Yes. I've got 2 new drivers on my list, although they could be returning, or I just didn't see their gamer tag in the previous seasons. First of all is CCR Clark. Again, could be former returning driver. I don't know. Chat might need to help me on that. Yeah, all the best to him. And RSF1 Airhead again. I'm pretty sure that's a gamer tag change, but again, I could be horribly wrong. Yeah. All the best to you.
That is a gamer tag change, I think. I think he. I might be able to find
Beast Pro. Laser said that's Beast Pro.
There we go.
RSF1 Airhead is Beast Pro. There we go. So we got Beast Pro and Braver Container in the same. Wow, that's gonna be a fun one. No, Clark was Beast Pro. Oh, sorry.
Airhead was FTR Asteroid.
Oh, Asteroid or Comet.
Yeah.
So he's gone from an asteroid to a comet to an airhead. Okay. Also, technically we don't have any new drivers at all.
No.
In F4. Ah. Okay. Nice. All right then. So that's Div 4 Thursdays, because F5 is on a Tuesday. Still trying to get used to the div order again, because it was different from last season, even though it's more normal. It's just F5 not in chronological order. Yeah, F4 Thursdays, myself and Unity Hush for that season. Div 3. Moving on to Div 3. This is your division, Cornish, the one you're commentating on with Mr. Sauce on a Wednesday.
Yeah, so, the division full of personalities, shall we say?
Oh, thought of the same word at the same time. I was going to say egos.
Egos and personalities.
Yeah. Connor Todd, we're in Div 3 at the moment now, just starting off Div 3. Then we go to 2, then to 1. So, there we go. Yeah, what's your thoughts head into this season, Cornish? Your first proper one streaming it.
Yeah, so obviously it's me and Source streaming, as we covered earlier, and I think we've got a division on our hands. I think it's going to be full of action. Everyone seems to be very quick, and the majority very clean. But yeah, a bunch of big personalities, just to name a few and a bunch of admins as well. So, yeah, definitely an exciting bunch. You're included in there as well. We've then also got the likes of Raikkonen, Shane, Blazer Guns, Eyes the Best, Camo. The list goes on and on of big personalities.
Yeah. Big personalities that might clash on the track as well as off of it. But no, this is as you say, this is a battle of the committee, says Hippo. Yeah. Yes, a lot of names, lot of well-known names in this one. Again, one new driver amongst everything is Mr. Blue Sky, which I love the name of. I mean, that just puts a smile on your face, Mr. Blue Sky.
Yeah, Mr. Blue Sky in the social race in Singapore. He had a horrendous race until the last 4 laps when he could have saved a podium and then blew it. So he's going to be one to watch. I think. Good luck. If it's your first ever.
At least he sticks around.
Yeah, he did. If he could have quit very early on, but he stuck around. So, yeah, an interesting one. Him.
Yeah. Already the predictions are spamming away in the chat right now, which is great to see. Keep the conversations going. We'll try and pick out a few. I've put a star next to every driver in every division which I think that could win. I put a star next to 10 people in this one. I mean, it's open. It's incredible. I mean, all the tiers are incredibly open. There's at least 7 or 8 realistically. Just in my head at the time when I did this. This has the most. I mean, where do you start? I mean, you got Raikkonen, obviously runner-up to F5 last season to Andy Yuskin, who's also in this division as well. Thankfully, they're not teammates, which could have been interesting. Rivals of F5, and they were rivals. They were to and fro throughout the season. Both made the 2 divisions step up, which is going to be difficult. But again, I think they can settle in as well. You've got Stretch, who was runner-up to F3 last season, to Musical Rocket. Obviously, Rocket we'll touch about later on, but he's still in there. You've got Shane, who's ever the consistent hand in there on and off the track. You've got Grunty in there, who obviously was in F2, then went to F3 last season, is probably desperate to have a good solid season himself. Camo as well, who was in championship contention, had some horrible luck, which I had 2 seasons ago, about 7-8 races, no points. They'll be desperate. There's who else do you is there any names there, Cornish, I haven't mentioned?
Slither and me, a good friend of mine, Zach. He was originally put into F2 because in his TTs especially he showed some really solid pace. This will be his first full season in RSF1. But yeah, being put into Div 3, I think that's a real good place for him to get some good results. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be challenging for the title, maybe, but I can definitely see him getting some podiums and maybe some wins.
Well, here's the thing, as we mentioned, in the start of this, you've got a lot of personalities, a lot of egos, that could potentially clash on and off. If he keeps his head down and keeps quiet, he could sneak in.
100%.
Sneak in around. There's a lot of drivers here that could sneak in and around. Because I predict the races are going to be hectic, pretty much. They're going to be very, very close. The pre-season, what was it, Singapore? That qualifying.
That was
for pre-season.
Was the way to describe that. I don't think me and Source are going to get much break during the races. I think we can put it that way.
No, we're sorry. We're sorry in advance.
Yeah, you're going to be one to watch out for. Obviously, last season you didn't have the best of results. You started in F2, started in F3, moved yourself up into F2, and it just didn't go very well for you, did it? So you moved back down
to 2 to F1.
2 to F1. Sorry, started in F2, moved yourself to F1. You did get a couple of points, but then moved back down to F3, and it just didn't go very well for you. So I hope this season you look like you've got some real solid pace, in my opinion, and I think you'll definitely be one of the challengers. So yeah, real good luck for you going forward, mate. As you said, you're one of those drivers that will just knuckle down. If you have a spin off, you're not going to just quit. You're just going to knuckle down and keep on going. If you can get your penalties under wraps, which I am,
Oh yeah, there is that. Yeah.
I am guilty of myself. So I'm full aware of how difficult it is to get that under wraps. But if you could definitely get your pens under wraps moving forward, then yeah, really good luck. I think you're going to be one of the main ones, if I'm honest, in this division.
Well, I've got my number one car that I wanted from the car draw in the Williams. So, well, thank you. But yeah, with the whole pen thing, I've already been fired out several times by the chat. So thank you.
Just wait till you get to me.
I know it's an issue. I know it's an issue. All right, you can stop. I've got a fun teammate as well, an Eagle, who is for those of you that don't know, I follow and work for football. I'm a Brighton fan, very much proud of it. Eagle is a Palace fan. Those that know that football, Brighton and Palace don't like each other. They hate each other. So that's going to be, good stuff. Good stuff. It's going to be a tough one. As I mentioned, this division is so close. This, as you say, there's so many egos, so many personalities, but there's so many good races in there as well. There will be incidents, I reckon, but not too many, as I don't think. There's a lot of good drivers in here that will do the job. So
yeah, I think one of the good things with Division 3 is there's a lot of experience, which I think helps. There's lots of people here who've done multiple seasons in multiple different games. So that's definitely going to help keep driving hopefully clean. But hopefully everyone knows what they're doing anyway. So hopefully that'll be good.
I'll tell you the other one as well. Constructors is going to go to the wire, because there are some strong teams. You got Element and Stretch together, who know each other. That's the one thing from teammates. You need to have a good connection off the track as well. That always helps. Element and Stretch, they're good friends. They'll be ones to watch. You got Eyes and Camo and the AlphaTauris, who both know each other. Shane and Andy Yuskin. Now Shane actually tutored Andy Yuskin in his F5 championship winning season last season in the Renault, because they were both in the Renault. They're now teammates.
Wow.
It's the teacher and the pupil together. So
the Jedi and the Padawan.
So that's going to be great. Jedi and the Padawan, yeah. If you want to throw in a Star Wars reference, go for it. And a good car in the Aston Martin as well. So you got that. Breezy and Jamie, which we haven't mentioned before. They're both very quick.
Very quick.
Raw pace-wise. So
yeah,
they could be one.
Jamie, I raced against an F4 last season. One of the title challengers on his day. Very quick driver. I'm looking forward to seeing how he can do on this year's game, especially in Div 3 as well.
And then you got Adam Lee and Raikkonen. Raikkonen in a Mercedes now. So
or a Mercedes, if anyone watched the draw yesterday.
Mercedes, yes. Oh yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, by the way. If you want to try and keep up, it's called Mercedes. Not Mercedes Cornish. Call it a Mercedes.
A Mercedes. Okay.
Make sure he remembers.
From this time forward,
or whoever did it.
It's Mercedes.
Whoever did it has got to be reminded. Yeah, Raikkonen and Adam Lee. You know how Raikkonen is. Quick on his very good tracks. Obviously, he's got to make that division 2 step up like Andy Yuskin, but he knows how to string results together. He will stick around in those chaotic races as well, and then partnered up with Adam Lee, who has shown some pretty good pace in the pre-seasons already. Won the Spain race as well. So there's a lot in this division. You're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You and Source Cornish, I reckon.
Yeah, really. I did have a few people message me some of their histories.
Yes.
So Eagle was one of them. Eagle started way back in season 1, halfway through that season. But in season 2 was Div 5, managed to work his way up. all the way to Div 4, and as Millsy said earlier, missed out by a single point. Last season in Division 3, it was up and down, but he did get the win at Monaco. I know him and Button are quite good friends, so I don't know what it is between those two, but they seem to like the track. So, yeah, he got his 1 win at Monaco. This season, he's just looking to be competitive. I'm just hoping to get some point finishing. Andy Yuskin, he did send me a little bit. He's not raced in any other league other than RSF1, but he feels like he's improved so much since the start of his journey. He's going from a regular mid in Season 3 to regular podiums in Season 4. That's in Division 5. And then, of course, won the title in Division 4. His pace has improved so much that he's jumped up to Division 3. He's hoping to compete with his last season driver at Raikkonen and finish in the top 10 of the championship. That's his goal. And, of course, to help his teammate. And then the final person that sent me through a little bit about themselves was I's the Best. Now, obviously, me and you know I's the Best going way back, back into the good old days of F1 2012, 13, 14 or whatever. So we know, at least with I's the Best, that he's very experienced. He said that he's very pleased to get Camo as his teammate. He's not quite sure where he's going to finish himself on an individual basis, but as a team view going forward, he thinks that they will bounce off each other very well, and they've got an excellent chance to get the constructors. I think the experience there with those two will help. So those are the people that sent me a little bit about themselves.
I think the other thing as well is that qualifying, as I mentioned, is going to be ridiculously close. One mistake is going to cost you. We're talking what makes you go through the Q3 and what doesn't. What makes you go through the Q2 and what doesn't. Because of the whole experience, as we say, we got one completely new driver in it, Mr. Blue Sky T. He needs to settle in quite quickly, I think, with this group. Feel kind of sorry for him in a way, but I think he'll be fine. But yeah, this very good to very good season. Looking forward.
I can't wait.
So many characters.
I can't wait to be commentating on it.
Right, Division 2. This is the division of Blazer and Chris that is going to be commentating on the Mondays. This is the division which I'm aiming for, by the way. It's what I want to be in for Season 6. So, but going ahead for this season, Season 5, this is the one where you're racing in it as well. Making the 2 division step up from being obviously F4 champ from last season.
Sorry, can you say that again?
F4 champ.
Joking.
Sorry.
Jesus. Thank you.
Sorry. What are your thoughts? Obviously, as I mentioned, 2 division jump, quite a bit. Deserved, I think. You've made some really good progress on this game.
Yeah.
On Div 4. But it's going to be a tough one. There's a lot of names in here that, former F1 drivers from last season as well that want to recover. Former F3 drivers that had a very good season last season. Going to be a tough one. Going to be a tough one to settle in.
Yeah, this is going to be a real tough one. I was quite surprised by the jump up I made myself, if I'm honest. And I don't know if that's just because other people, I hate to use the word sandbagged, but I don't believe they did. I feel like this is going to be a very, very interesting league. This is one of the only leagues, if I'm honest, that I don't know if I could particularly call who's like a favourite. I think everyone on their day has got a very good chance of getting a good result in. I think my goal for the season, I think I'm just going to hope to settle in. And just get some, especially to start with at least, get some consistent point finishes. My issue is always going to be penalties, especially around France. I've not done a single practice yet without getting at least 20 seconds of penalties. So,
20 seconds? Jesus.
Yeah, let's not go there. So
it's a tough track, to be fair.
Yeah, really tough. So I think on my day, I've got a good chance of being up there at least. But yeah, we'll see. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah. As I mentioned there, so you've got former F1 drivers from last season. You've got Unity Hush. Then down as well. You've got Vettel SF71, who used to be F1. I think he's had a little bit of a break, returning full time. You've got, who else in there? You've got Mr. Pigeon Munch, which I am one of the surprises. I thought, because he was 4th in the championship last season in F1. He's obviously struggling. Yeah, he's obviously struggling with the game this time. But I thought he was one of those ones that, those people that are naturally quick on every single iteration of the game. I thought he was there as well. So now that he's in F2, he could be definitely one to watch. Connor Todd as well. Used to be, he's had a season away. He's come back. Another name to look out for. You've also got the very interesting scenario, because obviously you're the F4 champ. I'll say it again. But you've also got a very proud champion from Division 3 in Div 2 in Musical Rocket as well. So, and that'll be fun to see. Potentially you versus Rocket on the track. Also, Rocket as well. Both making that step up. Both got a little bit of a reputation to maintain. Again, though, could be quite close between you.
As long as I finish ahead of him in the championship, I'll be happy. If I'm honest.
Oh, we're starting that already.
That's my goal.
You've also got the runner-up from F2 last season, Muddy Biscuit, who is probably... Well, it's the opposite to you and I. He rarely gets on-track corner cut penalties. I don't know how he does it and still maintain, pace and consistency, because he's always there. He's always consistently there. It's almost sounding that he's annoying. He's not. He's not at all. He's obviously a great guy off the track, but on the track, I think he was very unfortunate to miss out on the championship last season. Went down to the last race against Lukey. But I think he's going to be out for slight revenge in the F2 championship.
100%. Just to hammer home that case of him not getting any pens, I did a practice session with him the other day, and we were exactly the same pace. But by the end of the race, I had 27 seconds of penalties, and he didn't have a single one. So and we were battling the whole race. So I don't know how he does it. But yeah, that's going to be his main gold ticket, I think, for this season. Not being able to get any pens at all, that's going to win him races easily.
Yeah, good stuff. Who else do we mention in here? Obviously, Izzy Wizzy Woo, who used to be a Logner, Sync Saiju, or... No, not Sync Saiju. I don't know. I've lost count the amount of game tags. Would you please just stick to one? It's horrible. Anyway, our only female driver, I believe, in the league currently. Not counting reserves. So. Yeah, obviously used to be former F1 driver as well for Loche. That's another one. Sync for Loche. So many. Please stick to one and go forward. Anyway, she'll be one to watch as well. Very not shy at all to making maneuvers. Similar to Rocket, in fact, and their teammates. How's that happened? So
an interesting
that could be a team to watch, the two mates. Yeah, not shy at all. If they're at the back of the grid for any reason, unfortunately, they're out in Q1, expect them to go forward and using some elbows at the same time. Not in a bad way, just they're not afraid at all, both of them, to make maneuvers. So that could be interesting team. Your teammate with Caesar Wizard, who got a solid 68 points for Alfa Romeo last season. What's your thoughts with Caesar Wizard? Have you spoken to him since the... it's only been a day, obviously, but have you spoken to him since the drop?
No, I've not spoken to him. Not yet, anyway. But I know he's a consistent driver, so I'm hoping we can get some good, solid points. But if I'm honest, I think there's some very, very strong partnerships this season that's going to be tough to beat. Really tough to beat.
I mean, the partnership that I see already is Unity and Vettel.
Yeah.
both full marathon drivers.
That was
Obviously,
the
both
one I was
know what they're
thinking of.
doing. Yeah, both in the Alpine, so good car as well. Did put out Muddy Biscuit and Matty in the AlphaTauris.
Yeah, Connor Todd and JJ Hudson. That is a pairing and a half. That is.
I don't know why I didn't point that out. I didn't see that as well, because Hudson, a former teammate of mine. Yeah, they're going to get on very, very well.
If I'm not, I actually think they're going to be my favourite for the constructors at least. They're both of them are very quick.
We have a fair few drivers that sent their thoughts to you in this division, so we'll get through them. Start off with Izzy.
So starting off with Izzy, let me get it. So Izzy said that she's just hoping for a solid top 5 in the standings this season. She's trying to be competitive and hoping to assist their teammates for the whole constructors. She said that she will be working with Musical Rocket hard and will hopefully be working to the best of both of their abilities. She's never had a full proper season in RSF1, normally leaving due to personal issues, but she's hoping to make this her first full proper season. And she said that I'd better read that out, so I did. There you go, Izzy. Another person that sent me a bit of information was CW, another guy that's going to be quick, I think. So he started league racing about a year and a half ago, started in RSF1 Division 4. Halfway through, I managed to move up. Managed to finish 4th after only starting halfway through. Season 4 was moved to Division 3, so last season, but he did have a bit of a bad season and lost the motivation to play the game. But got the new game and has turned out to love it so far and has managed to get put in Division 2. Hoping to finish top 5, so really gunning for it. And yeah, really looking forward to it. He seems to have definitely found some confidence. Another driver that sent me a little bit of information was Muddy Biscuit. His history, obviously an admin of the league. He joined during the start of Season 4 and managed to finish 4th in that championship in Division 3. On last game, he finished 2nd in both Season 3 and Season 4, and obviously missed out by just 4 points, which, as you said, was very, very unlucky. But he only picked up 1 corner-cutting penalty across the whole 44 races. I hadn't read that until now. That is insane. 1 penalty across 2 full seasons of racing.
How does he do it?
That is
insane.
I think I need to try and hire him for some one-on-one lessons on how to not get penalties. That is incredible. And his target for this season apparently is to beat me. So I think with my penalty history and your penalty history, I think you'll do that easily, if I'm honest, mate. Another driver that sent me a bit was Unity Hush. So he started RSF1 back when it formed and went on to win the very first Division 1 title. But narrowly missed out of it in Season 2. Season 3 and 4 was rough for him, apparently, as he lacked the pace in Division 1 and just had to get on and bite the bullet and handle it. His aim for Season 5 is to not get any penalties at all. So he's aiming to emulate his hero of Muddy Biscuit. And he's hoping that he can just get solid points and hopefully get a teammate that works out well for me. Who did he end up with again?
Who is this?
Hush, Unity Hush.
Vettel SF.
Vettel, so he's got a very, very good teammate there. Outside of RSF1, he's also won a TSRL history back-to-back seasons before he decided to leave there. So, yeah, he's got experience of winning Unity Hush. So, yeah, he's one definitely to watch out for. JJ Hudson sent me a tiny little bit. He's going for the drivers and team constructors. He's just come straight out and said it. He's hoping to have a better start than last season and not catch up in crashes, which he ended up doing last season. So he's gunning for it straight away. Crazy Fish sent me a mini summary. Obviously, Crazy Fish is another driver that me and you have known back on the F1 2012 games, XRL, the glory days, in my opinion. So he raced solidly from 2012 to 2017, winning a championship back there, but decided to call it quits until last season when he returned with RSF1. Normally, he finds himself good at quali, but falls back in races due to tyre wear. So that's something that he's trying to look on. Mason Dunk sent me a little bit. Basically, he joined RSF1 because he had some friends in it, had all assists on for the first few races of last season, and started to get rid of them as time progressed. He really enjoyed competing with me, Button, Alco, and Primus, and he found himself in a little title contender. And then made a stupid mistake, which obviously we've not covered, and lost it all. But for now, this season, he's gaining more and more pace, and is hoping to get faster and faster, and he's ready to compete with me again, is what he said. Hopefully, he's going to win the championship. That's his goal. But obviously, understands that it will be difficult as he's now in Tier 2. And that's all of the guys that sent me bits for Tier 2, I think. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yep.
So we did get quite a good response from Tier 2 there. A bunch of real good guys. I'm really looking forward to it myself. Really looking forward to this season.
Yeah, thank you very much for F2 drivers sharing your thoughts. And Blazer and Chris on the Tuesday? No, Monday? Yes, Monday. So, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow you kick off your season. Yeah, good luck to you all, and good stuff. All right. Last but not least, the division that, as of now, has the honour of kicking off season 5 in less than 3 and a bit hours time. The F1 division. So now the first kind of story, obviously, so commentating on this one, we have an old hand at commentating, RSF from Raikkonen. Not saying that you're old, I'm just saying that you're experienced, Mr. AJ. Yes, I am.
Old and bold.
And of course, he's bringing his old graphics that we've seen before in Elgato card, trying out new things as well. So yeah, Sunday gets the whole broadcasting treatment, so on. He is partnered with a new commentator in the team Invade, who has settled in very, very nicely, I must say myself. In the pre-season race, and when I jumped in, he did very, very well. So I'm sure he will do a great job. So F1, you're in very good hands. Starting off, obviously, tonight. They get to show us how France is done, pretty much. But in terms of the drivers this season, the first major story going into this season in Cornish is we don't have our former F1 champion, Corey Marshall. So, who is going to take over his ground? Who is going to become the fastest driver in our league? And straight away, who'd you pick? There's so many.
It's really, really tough. Do you know what? I don't know why it surprises me, but how quick some of these guys are. I know the top division is supposed to be quicker than everyone else, but by the margin that some of these guys managed to set is insane.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the people that I think have got a real solid chance. We've got Joe Pilkey, who obviously is new into the league, joined halfway through last season, I think. And instantly showed his pace. Some of his TT time around France is just bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
So he looks very, very quick.
Yeah, obviously you can never ever count out Easton.
Nope.
Obviously, took a break away from last season, returned, showed that he still had the pace amongst him. I think he's obviously desperate to retain his crown from 2 seasons ago. Obviously, I'm glad that he's back, and hopefully he can have a good proper go at the championship as well. But there's a lot of new names in here that could shake it up as well, including the so-called fastest in our TT submission from a couple of weeks ago. Remember, we had to do TTs around USA, Mexico, and Brazil. Produce, or Sam Howells, was the fastest overall, apparently, which I found out on the team car draw yesterday. That is a statement. It's also a lot of pressure, now that everyone else knows that, but that is a statement. He has pace on this game, and he was in F2 last season, 97 points, so he is clearly loving this game completely. He could just come out of nowhere completely, but everyone knows that he's quick now that he's got a target on his back.
Yeah, the only issue I'm gonna say is he's quick. Is he too cocky? Because he is a driver that did
Oh,
send me a message, and I will
ah.
just read that out. Let me just load that up a minute. Hang on a second.
You did ask me, are you sure you should read it out? And I was like, yeah.
Where
Listen to this,
has he
guys.
deleted it? Hang about.
No.
Come
Did
on.
he actually?
No, there we go. It was just for some reason hidden. So, I've got a bit of a paragraph about Sam. So he started properly league racing in 2019 in a league called CCRL. He started there as a Tier 4 driver, got promoted to Tier 3, but then moved down to Tier 4 again for the rest of the F1 for the rest of that season. In F1 2020, though, he got promoted straight to Division 1 and was seen as easily a top 100 driver on Xbox. He won the championship for the F2 cars and managed to win a league, winning £100. He then joined RSF1 midway through last season for Tier 2, but he should have been Tier 1 as he was unable to race on that specific day. In his own words, he dominated the field in F1 20, and so he dominated the field in F2 last year, and then in F1 2021 he's found insane pace and has moved up to be considered one of the fastest players on the entirety of the Xbox, and will be one of the RSF1 championship contenders. He's going for the season, he's going to win the season, and he's 15 years old, in his own words. So he's got confidence.
The chat start rumbling.
You've got to give him that. For a 15-year-old, he's got confidence. But will that bite him in the arse? Is he going to go in big-headed, expecting to walk the field and find out that these guys are quick? They're all there for a reason. They're all in the top division for a reason. I really hope he has a bit of a reality check. And that's not me being mean. I just really want the season to be close. I want the season to be really close. And I think if you get a bunch of these guys at the top of their game, top of their pace, I think we're in for a barnstormer.
It's good. Laziness, cheating, being that young, quick reaction times. Oh yeah, all these young drivers. We don't, all us old hands who don't have reaction time anymore.
No.
30 this year. Oh dear. And there's the massive target on his back. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's one way
to
put it.
Completely agree. He probably didn't expect you to read the whole thing. Well, you say all that, we're gonna.
Yeah, definitely.
He's as you say, he's confident. You got to admire the guy. He's a kid because he's 15. Yeah, you got to admire the guy. But as you say, yeah, he's expecting no competition. Oh, I think a few people are going to say something about that. Or do something about that.
100%.
Yeah. As I said, Easton, you got BF1 Racer in there as well, who we all know is quick. Lukey, F2 champ from last season, 289 points last season. Obviously narrowly beat Muddy Biscuit to the title in the last race. He is quick as well. You got who else we got? We got Milan in there, had a solid season in F2. Jumping up, we got XR Mansell. We got the returning No Shoals.
Draco, yeah. He was rapid near the end of the season last year. Some of the races I saw, he was walking the field in Division 2, so he's gonna be quick.
Who else we got there? We got returning Ites as well, who hasn't lost his pace at all. Jess Lee in there. We know he's a good solid driver, good solid hand that will bring back the points. O'Hardy as well, that is quick. Aldaf, and of course Draco last season. I mean, Draco was competing with Produce, if I remember rightly, in the back end of F2 last season. So I think Mr. Produce is going to be stirring a bit of fire there.
Oh yeah.
All that.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
I can't wait to see what's going to happen later. And the beautiful thing is, we don't have to wait that long. As you said, it's 3 hours.
3 and a bit hours away. We do have a new driver in the league as well, which I've never heard of this name as well. F2 Tob Zando. He could be blindingly quick. He's obviously clearly in F1 for a reason. So, and it's very rare that we get a brand new, complete new name to the RSF1, and he's straight in F1. So clearly he's quick. Yeah, obviously as I said at the start of the preview of this division, who is going to take Corey Marshall's crown? A lot of names there. That could.
Speaking of Draco, he was one of the drivers that did send me a little bit about himself. So he joined in RSF1 in Season 3, towards the end, in Singapore. He was on a pad back then and decided to leave the league and focus on getting better. He joined back in Season 4, mid-season, and got a wheel and improved massively at the end of the year. So that's when we did see him getting quicker. And he ended up getting P3 in the championship. And now he's been moved up to Tier 1. Apparently, he says that he's 14. So is it just a weird thing that all of the quickest people are young? It shows their reaction times, I suppose.
Yeah.
He seems to think that Sam isn't 15. But obviously, I could only go by what Sam said.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, again, Draco, very, very quick in F2, or back end of F2. I'm not surprised he's F1 this season. And I think he's more or less happy to stay there. I'll be confident enough that he'll stay there as well. You also got something from Daniel. I believe.
Did, yeah.
He used to be Massa, I think, or something like that, or Dan Burnett.
Dan Burnett, yeah, definitely. I've heard that name before. So he said that he won his first race in RSF1 back in Season 2 in China in the Formula 3 division. In Season 4, he won 3 out of 3 races in the third division. And the first 3 seasons, so he got promoted to F2. It took a little bit of a break at some point in that season, and then when he rejoined, he was placed up into Tier 1. On the final race of Season 4 in F1, he got a third place finish, which was his happiest result, as it meant that he showed progression over the season. His ambitions going forward for this season is to try and compete at the front, and basically just be as consistent as possible in qualifying and the race. So, and I've done a bit of practice with him as well. Well, he was in a practice session I was in, and he was looking really quick. I'm not going to say any times, but yeah, definitely showed a big gap between a couple of the Div 2 drivers I was in compared to what he was doing. So, just judging by that, he's looking like he's going to have a good result tonight. Potentially.
Yeah. Yes. There are a lot of race winners potentially here as well, which is going to make the season obviously very, very close. Constructors as well, I think the 2 that stood out, and that's no offense to the other teams, so the 2 that stood out is Produce or Sam Howes and Eitz together in the McLarens, and BF1 Racer and Easton together in the Williams. Is a good potential shout. As I said, no offense to the others. I mean, looking at Hardy and Adolf in the Red Bulls, Milan and Cuddy in the Astons,
Joe Pilkey and Draco in the Haas.
Yeah. So there's a lot there. And as I mentioned earlier, with Produce's statement, I guess we can say.
It's one way to describe it.
It's all going to stir it now. And I'm not looking at the members lounge, I'm at the Twitch tab, but imagine the members lounge is kicking off a little bit. Yeah, all starts 8 o'clock. Ahead, it's me, Rubens, and Mr. Cornish. Today we've been talking for 84 minutes now.
We're
just about finishing off. So.
Didn't quite manage that.
I've enjoyed it as well, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, all kicks off, and it might kick off at 8 o'clock today, live on Twitch. Mr. Raikkonen and Invade are ready, waiting to start things off as the F1 boys show us how it's done around France. is interesting as well how the divisions have sort of laid out in order, Cornish, because normally we were looking at F2 on a Sunday, see strategies and times, what to look for. Now we got F1, and they're supposedly the best and the fastest, so we got the best advice going forward, unless it rains, of course, and then we got nothing at all.
It better
and then
not
you got
rain.
you and F2.
It better, I was hoping to take note of tonight's race so I could take it forward for tomorrow. So it better not rain, even though I suppose the rain would be more entertaining and we might be able to see some more closer action potentially. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to tonight and the whole season as a whole. To be fair.
Oh yeah, there was a thing earlier when we were talking about F3. A couple of people said that Raikkonen and I's the Best are the Rainmaster. Yeah, all right. Can I put my name in that hat?
Can I put my name in the
I'm
hat
good
for
at
the
the
rain disaster? I've never been good in the rain, so yeah, I'm hoping it's not raining tomorrow.
All right, let us move forward to this as well. So there it is. France is the first track tonight, 8 o'clock. Make sure you watch us. And France is this week. Before we move on, to Belgium as round 2 as well. So good luck to everyone this season. Again, for those that we haven't mentioned, we apologies. We would love to go for every single driver, but we'll be here for way longer. And yeah, but good luck to everyone. Have a kind season. Don't go at each other too much. I know people will, but hey ho. Not too much. Give the admins some help as well. It's just a hobby, including myself. With comms, give comms all the support we need as well. Hopefully it should be a good season ahead.
Yeah, and I just want to thank everyone that did send me a little bit of info on DMs. You didn't have to, and it's much appreciated. It just gives a bit more context for the season going forward. So thanks for that, guys.
Yes, thank you for that. There's nothing much else to say. I think that's it. I think that is it. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. We've had a steady 30 viewers throughout the entirety of the stream, so thank you very much for watching. A couple of you enjoyed it as well, saying in the chat, so good stuff. We can rest easy now. We've done what we need to do. Thank you very much, Cornish, for your research and your what's the word I'm trying to use? I've lost my mind on words. Thank you for joining me and everything. Good luck in your season.
Thank you very much.
Hope you do very well. And yeah, in both racing and streaming. So good luck ahead. But this has been myself, Arison Rubens, and Cornish for your season preview. This is going to be uploaded to YouTube if you want to rewatch it again. And for those that missed it live, it'll be uploaded as soon as I've finished off here. But yes, we'll be live in 3.5 hours time for the F1 race. Raikkonen and Inve taking us through our opening round of France. So until then, take care. Thank you very much for watching. Good night.